Shanking going on over at the laundromat. I don't know what that's about.
Wow.
Yeah, I killed this clown. He's fucking swinging at me. He hit me in the corner and he comes right up behind me and says knife me. He almost got me, dude. It was embarrassing. Fuck.
Well, grab that body at least. The liquidator's not gonna come down here.
Yo, I need a medic. Where the medics at?
Yeah, alright.
Rations.
What about meeting a liquidator? A liquidator?
We got corpses.
Oh. Hello, Draft.
There's another one over there.
Oh, sounds good. Dude, I'm gonna hold it bit down. Oh, I got it.
Come back later. Do you remember what other colors look like anymore? Oh, yeah, there's plenty of colors. Yeah, one of the developers was here, and I told him he should probably take a look at... Well, not told him. I, like, asked him if he can take a look at the color palette for Cortex, so they can maybe see more colors than just blue. They came in? Yeah, Devin chat. Nice man.
What's up, man?
What the hell did you do?
I didn't do nothing, man. I didn't do nothing.
We could have asked him what happened.
What kind of cop are you?
A nice one.
Bro. Nah. I trust you cops. There's so many pros being Yo, please stop killing each other, please. I understand if you have max rights, but
Why'd you shoot him?
Because he fucking shot me, and that was a real asshole answer.
He didn't shoot me, but
Gentlemen, I have the best prices. Would you like to think? Say, man.
Can I harvest these bodies? Oh wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
I need
99%.
I got the
We
best
can
prices.
use that. Oh, see if you can harvest it. We need the biofuel. Yeah. Yes, I love you.
Nice group combo, but going side by side. Just saying.
These shitty cops, man, I'm telling you. They're always, people are so willing to just shoot first, all right? Why don't you ever just talk? Like, that guy was harmless. That guy was harmless. What do you think he's gonna do, get you? You could've just asked him what happened.
I'm gonna get you.
Why'd you shoot the other cop? Why didn't you ask him what happened?
I saw what happened.
Please
And then he
don't
shot at
start
another
killing
guy.
each other, please. Like, there needs to be cops out right now. There's so many pros that are new to the game that are just trying to kill people. Dude, there was one pro I just taught that you have to put, like, coal in between, you know, the furnace and, like, the bottom of it. You didn't even know that.
You know that favorite item I make all the time? I turned it into a gun. You wanna try it?
No. But thanks for the offer.
You sure? Alright. Fair enough.
He made a gun out of shit. Like, he shit in a jar and made a gun out of it.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's
What?
that's my business partner. Listen, for some reason he's got this like this allure to shit in a jar, and I'm telling him it's fucking nasty. Get that shit out of here. But he loves it. He fucking loves that stuff.
He must be a fan of that one popular scat video, you know, 2 ladies, 1 cup.
Oh, I was thinking about that.
He is.
I was thinking about that guy, and he goes like, "I'm the scat man." Skibbity-ba-doom-dum-dum-dum. You know that guy?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy's pretty good.
Factories. I must supply the Cortex with goods.
Yeah, good thought. Here, have a commendation.
And productive.
Here, you know what? You want one too?
Thank you.
Do a good job. Make me proud. You earn more money. If you do something illegal, that gets you no money. So just keep that in mind.
Alright.
I must pay you now.
No, you don't have to pay me. It's your money. You earned it.
Take this money.
Stop it.
Bro, the newbies in this game are. I'm actually kind of eating it
No,
up
it's
right
your
now.
money. It's your money.
No, this is your money.
No,
Take
it's
it.
your money.
Take all
I've
my
got
money.
money. No, I don't
This
want
is
your
your
money.
money now.
It's your money.
We are community.
Stop. Get the fuck out of here. Stop. Cut it out. Stop. Stop it.
What are
Dude,
you
the
gonna do
newbies right
about it?
now are
It's
actually
your money.
cracking me up.
No,
It's your money. I
Just
don't
some
want it.
cool, funny people on right now,
you're
bro.
my superior. Take my money.
Do not push. Do
I
not push me
don't
again.
know. I hope I got
I'm
paid on
literally
my phone.
giving you money.
Do not. Please. This is your second out of 3 warnings.
Hey, boss, are you proud of me?
Yes.
Why'd you guys kill those 2 dudes? Oh,
Yeah.
but they were proles.
I love you.
Thanks. You're pretty cool too. That's why I gave you a commendation. But please stop trying to give me money. Or I'll be forced to do something
I'll
that's
work
not
hard
very
for you.
lovely. What?
I work hard for you.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
Who do I give my money to?
Yourself, because you deserve love too.
Is this the American dream?
Something like that. I never got my ration. I hope the ration cycle's still up. Oh, thank God. You just try to steal my fucking ration? Yeah, that's right. You better fucking walk away.
You're one of those.
I didn't hear a fucking word that guy just said.
I said, oh, you're one of those.
What, one of those what? You tried to steal my fucking ration.
Well, yeah, I tried to steal your ration.
Well, fuck you. That's my ration.
If I could, I'll do it any day of the week, Monday through Friday.
Well, don't. People need their rations. It's mean.
Well, no, I'm a
Besides-
fucker.
Hey, man, you know how to do this job.
Yeah, we steal rations. You're supposed
then
to steal
sell?
rations. And yet, you don't sell. Yeah.
That's
How
a
do we
pretty.
still steal the rations?
Don't steal the rations. They need those rations.
You're supposed to steal rations, guys.
How do we do that?
Don't steal rations.
Anytime you can.
So like what? Just like go to the terminal and take them?
I'm just kidding. I'm fucking with this guy because he's sensitive.
I'm not sensitive.
Oh, you're sensitive as fuck.
I'm not sensitive.
Yeah, you are. You're probably the softest suppressor here.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you're actually right. I'm the only one who doesn't blow people in the head.
That's true. Also, the lotion yesterday was a little bit excessive.
I'm the only suppressor that doesn't just shoot people on sight, okay? You're right. I am the softest.
That's a horrible suppressor if you ask me.
Yeah, it's a horrible suppressor. Come on,
Oh.
guys. Let's get out of here.
Oh yeah.
The fucking goon squad.
Did it sound like they wanted to be suppressed?
I mean, I follow the law. I'm not just gonna shoot them. They'd have to
Wait,
do
is that
something
the Goon
first.
Squad?
Yeah, that was the goon squad.
Oh, fuck. The Goon Squad are hilarious.
Did you see that?
Yeah. What
That was-
just happened there?
That was wild. Ah, fuck. Now what? A citizen you commended has been targeted for limitation. -2 animosites. fuck? What the fuck you two doing back here?
Fucking.
Can I watch?
No, that's a fee.
How much?
50 credits. You
He didn't expect that one.
could have faked that to me, and I said it's the same thing. You know what? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, I.
Wait, so you're not fucking?
No, we're not. You just gave me 50 credits for no reason, and I'm sorry.
Well, then can I have him back?
You can have, yeah, you can have them back.
Thanks, man. Aw. Thanks, man.
Yo, your bullets don't hit the wall till like a half second after. Look at this shit. Like it's so delayed.
I think you're schizophrenic. It looks fine to me.
Really? The decent game could be bad?
Yeah, it looks
What's
fine
your
to me.
ping? What's your ping right now?
Like 100.
Oh yeah, it's 130 for me.
He's kind of right. There is a delay, but I'm not gonna tell him that.
But why? Look at it.
Ay, this city. And to think I'm the only good cop here. Oh, what happened?
Yeah, like 3 cops just shot each other at the contraband tunnel thing.
At the contraband tunnel?
They're actually,
What contraband tunnel?
whatever the vent.
The
thing
bazaar?
Is.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess so.
Nice corner you got there.
It's somebody mentioned.
camera 3143 has been destroyed. I know where that is, but now I'm stuck inside the vent. This really wasn't well thought out by me. Dude, this game's great.
So, like, what do we do once we get, like, finally get a store?
I don't know. What do you do when you get a store?
Yeah, once we get
I don't like you.
Oh, is it the fucking... Is it you?
Yeah, it's me.
Sam.
It's the worst suppressor imaginable.
Well, hold
Hey.
on. He is
Hey.
the
going
worst
on here?
suppressor. He's the worst
I got the
suppressor,
best
but...
here. Bank your money. I got the best taxes. Bank your money.
I'm the hot dog guy.
He's the hot dog.
The hot dog guy.
Yeah, we own that store right over there.
What is this, dealers?
Yep, that's
Dealers
right.
versus bankers?
So that guy
What
killed
is
me.
this, dealers versus bankers here?
I had the best taxes. Bank your money. Bank your money. I got the best taxes over here. My interest rate very low, guys. Bank over here, guys. Only rich people bank with me. Only rich people bank with me.
Dude, look at 3577's rate. Look at
99%
357.
is absurd. Kill him.
Look at 3577.
Look at my rates, bro. Look at my rates, guys. Why kill him? You can just
Yo, who's
we're the
buying
low rates,
wood?
man.
Anyone buying wood? Who wants some wood?
Ain't nobody want wood.
He's at 99% rate.
Who wants to buy some wood? I
have
got
the
some
best
wood.
taxes. I have the best taxes. Only rich people bank with me. Only rich.
What the fuck's happening? Nothing. Nothing important. God damn, another camera went off. Hi. Wanna buy a hot dog?
Nah, I'm broke. Any good use for glue?
Nope. I mean, if you get some dented cans in a kitchen, then you can turn it into spooky soup.
Yikes.
I mean, spooky soup's not so bad. I've had worse.
You work the docks and have rations.
Scary soup sounds like something that would be announced on that fucking, like, British, like horror thing for foods. Oh shit, this is full of repair kits. Like where the guy is like, number 10. Pizza Hut Band-Aid. Number 7, human tooth. Like just like imagine it like in your head, like number 4, scary soup. Ground. Yeah, they're lying. If you wanna throw off the market, you gotta go dealer, sit by the thing, buy it at a cheaper price in bulk, and then collect it in bulk, and then undercut them by so much that they go nuts. All right, you'll throw them into a fucking tissy if you do that. Like imagine you start selling it for like 16 when they're selling it for 30. You will steal all their business. They'll be helpless. Started today too. Well, that's the best time to charge insane rates because there's no competition. Number 8, chicken head. Pippi. Pip pip. Somebody walked in when they weren't supposed to. You a chicken head. You're a chicken head. You funny streamer, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate the kind words. I'm gonna get back some more ammo. Just refresh the whole ammo thing. It's nice because it's free. I get infinite ammo for my revolver. But only like kind of. Oh, what now?
Hey,
what now?
Okay, hot dog man.
Yeah, I'm hot dog man.
Oh, there you go.
I swear to God, bro, I don't know what it is, but like these two fucking bankers killed me for no reason, so I just became a scumbag. I'll be honest too, and I feel like my honesty should mean a lot. Like, I feel like I should get a pass with this. I really want to just be able to get away with murdering these two fuckers for getting me.
All right, I'm down with it. Do you know what their numbers were?
You know what? I don't, but I remember the rates. One was 99%. You know, I'll be honest. I didn't think this was gonna work.
I mean, yeah, come on, fuck it. You're lucky you ran into me.
I know. I'm so happy.
You know what? Maybe hot dog suppressor guy ain't so bad.
What do you mean I'm not so bad? I'm like the best fucking cop here. Not only am I the nicest, but I've also got a cool revolver, and I've killed more than any other cop.
Yeah, can I get their bodies?
You're capitalizing on being a cop and also having to shop at the same time, so you're getting that paycheck while you get that paycheck. I know your game.
Well, kinda. Oh.
It's all about money with this one.
It's not about money. I mean, money's important,
Yeah.
but it's
You
about
must help
happy.
me to this pilgrimage to Mecca, boys.
It's about having
This
a free
is my
LMG
pilgrimage.
and also having the shop.
I mean, everybody wants something to call their own.
I'm gay!
Hi.
Whoa. Whoa. We got
Where the
a.
fuck?
What would this bankers
That was
be?
something to hear.
Yeah, we're
Where's the bankers?
you
Where are
not live
those
with this
fucking
guy.
bankers?
Come on, we'll find
Look,
them.
we've got like a. You know what?
Yeah, we'll
You know
go
what?
and
I want a
go.
crowd.
We'll go.
I want there to be a crowd when this.
Stay.
Oh.
Let's gather everybody. Yo, every prole follow me.
Bro, quit your knife way.
No, hey!
That scared me. You jump scared me. Just okay.
That's alright. Is there a doctor around?
You know what? I can give you a rat.
Who the hell
Couple
shot him?
rags at the infirmary.
Bandage yourself. Bandage yourself. It's on the ground behind you. Bro, you took his
I don't know
rag.
about
He's bleeding.
Yo, someone took my rag. I'm gonna die.
It was 7969. I got another bandage.
What you do?
That wasn't very nice of you.
Hey, okay, come.
Oh wait, I have a
come here.
bandage.
Huh?
Don't worry about it.
Come here. Did you bandage? Okay, you did.
You know what? If you stay here long enough, I'm pretty sure they will just come to the launch.
They'll just pop up, huh?
This is
Yeah,
like
I'll
a
stay
high
here for a
traffic
bit.
area.
Here, you know what? I have a better idea. Why don't you hide in the washer?
Hide in the
Hide
washer?
in the washer?
Yeah, come on.
Why don't you just hide
Wait,
in the
wait,
dumpster?
You
Okay,
could
over
also
there.
hide in the dumpster.
Oh, it's-
I see two bankers. I see bankers. They're coming.
Hi.
Hey, man.
Hey, 1-7.
Yeah,
He seems
the-
nice
Oh,
enough.
yeah,
Hey, can I get a
these
medic?
cops, these cops
Hold on.
have
He's
to
got a
help me
he's got a
kill
valiant task. Okay, you gotta let him do what he's gotta
Oh,
do.
no, I'm okay. I'm not one of those arresting officers.
I want to see
Oh no,
this.
you're gonna see some
He's got a
shit.
big
You just gotta let it happen, okay? It doesn't involve
Yeah,
you.
no, I'm more of just like take
I have,
people's
like,
contraband
the
and sell it.
biggest boo-boo.
I need to wait for my blood.
I need to have
No worries about me.
It's so big
I need a
that it
crowd.
could be counted as
Hey,
like
can I get a
six
heal?
boo-boos all at once.
I tell you,
Yeah.
the coolest thing that they
So
can
my-
add to this
my
game
blood's
is
really
the
low,
ability
so
to
you guys
buy
gotta
a
wait a
gun
little bit.
permit.
Okay, just don't worry about these serfs. They're all below me.
Are you buying any wood?
Come on, you. We gotta. I mean, you sort of lost them. They were right there.
All right.
Yo.
Look at this 1-7. The prophecy. This is fucking. This is mine. Okay, I'm taking this. This kill is entitled to me.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. But where the hell did they go? They might be up here. Might.
Could be up here.
I mean, are you sure you don't want to like hide in the laundromat where it's funny?
Hey, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Some guy shot me.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Where the we can't
I
find
mean,
the
it's
boys.
probably the guy with the gun out.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't.
It's one of you
The
two.
only guy with the gun out.
Dude, I'll air this bitch out if they keep saying it's
Like
me.
self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, what happens after?
I'm so curious what's going on here.
I can't believe there's an actual.
I believe
crowd
they're gonna
for
have
this
sex
place.
with him.
I'm just hoping.
So hypothetically, though, if I were to shoot people, is there any punishment for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit. How severe?
Man, you.
Eventually, you go to Sisyphus and you have to push up.
Man,
Well,
we
no,
gotta-
I've been there because I RDM people as a regular point, but I've never done it as a human. Or, I'm
new
sorry, a
plan.
cop.
You gotta keep your eye on the prize.
You lose amnesites and stuff, and I think
You are not gonna get your job done like this, man.
Yeah, but are we walking around as a scumbag like a pet?
You're right. Me, the pet.
He has a valiant
On the
task.
contrary.
Oh, he has a
Hey,
task.
hey, don't disrespect me, all right? I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart.
Can y'all just kill someone so I can get money? I've been following you all around just for that.
Oh, you wanna just steal first?
All right, look. You,
I just want someone to put
wait, hold on. What's this guy's?
Whoa.
It might be him.
Whoa, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm not gonna kill you. There are cops here. I just want to see your. I want to deposit money.
Guys?
I want to deposit money.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, that guy with the knife tried to stab me earlier. Actually, he did
That
before
sucks, man.
medic stitched me up. Okay.
Kill
the
him!
fuck?
Kill him!
No, it's not him. It's It's not the
Okay.
stalker.
When you're hurt, you come to a
It's not
doctor.
him?
Her day.
Wait a minute. Aren't you friends with that 99%er?
No. It's not me.
You're such a fucking liar. I hear it in your voice. Dude, it's literally him. No.
I'm not trying to.
No, yeah.
You're
It was
smiling.
a 7%er. It was a 99%er. It was two of you motherfuckers. You jumped me.
It was a 5%.
Are you sure?
Telling you, dude.
Fuck, man. Dude, he's right.
Well, the timing on this.
Ay. You gotta pick up the pace on this whole searching thing.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's not easy to find these fuckers.
Yeah, we're just looking for these two assholes.
Whoa!
Oh, damn.
Whoa, shit! My bad.
Yeah, you're bad.
I'll take those funds.
Hold up.
Hey Doc, can I get some help?
Yeah.
Hey, man, I was just
Well, you
going
don't
here.
stop to ask questions first? You just see the blue square and shoot? What's wrong with you?
Yes? Funny. That's
not
the job. You shoot the blue square. Yeah, that's the job.
That's the
Excuse
most
me,
boring
Yeah,
way
see,
of
you're the boring
doing
cops.
it.
This is why people don't like you kind of guys.
You're the
Yeah, I like you,
literal
man.
reason why people become
I like all
scum.
Yeah,
You
he likes
like
me.
that?
Gentlemen, I need help. I was
I
just
see
born
cultists,
here.
I shoot. You see cultists, you, I don't know, take a bribe or something. I don't know, that's your...
Yeah, well, we were having a good time until you showed up.
Yeah, Joe Mama.
Joe Mama, huh?
Joe Mama.
Yeah, Joe Mama this.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Well, don't worry. He shot me first, so it counted as self-defense.
Yeah. Am I bleeding? Oh no, I'm hungry. God damn it.
Yeah, those two things are easily confused, you know. I sometimes I feel hungry and I'm like, am I bleeding?
No, it's one of those things that's like, there was just lots of gunfire, and now I'm dying.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I think something's happening to me. Oh, no, it's okay. I'm just thirsty. Any more Kevlar? Should not get marked for limitation. He shot me first. He shot me. Did you forget that part when I tried to like protect the scum? It counted as a brawl. That was a brawl. That was self-defense. Oh, shit, are we like out of food? Yeah, we're close. I mean, I don't consider it as I'm doing this so I can shoot him. All right, let me be so clear. I didn't use getting shot as an excuse, like to enable me to shoot him. I got shot, therefore I was able to shoot him because he was a jerk. I don't kill people in cold blood. He also said Joe Mama. All right, we got to remember. He Joe Mama'd me, okay? I think that deserves something. Good prevails. If he didn't shoot me first, I wouldn't have done it. I need to go beg the people in the wartime factory to heal me. Doctor, Doctor, I'm so low on blood.
Hey, the bakers are here. Kill them. Kill
What?
those bakers.
That's not my job. That's not my job.
I was gonna shoot him.
Doctor, I need more blood. I'm so low on blood.
Doc over here.
That's all I got for the moment.
That's okay.
Oops, I think we use, sorry.
Damn, look at this cool brawl. Get him, get him. World star.
Reaching a bit.
Aneurysm star, aneurysm star. Go for it, go, go, yeah.
Yeah, let's go. No.
Is that the 99%er?
Oh, first step, first day.
Did they kill the 99%er?
Double
Finally got the
KO.
knife
So,
back.
man. I think so.
Doc, can I get some,
You guys said we gotta kill those bankers, and I gave him a fight, so...
Are they enacting my will behind?
Hey, Doc, can I have more blood?
The bankers?
I've got so much blood missing.
I could also use some blood.
Take some stuff, guys. Take some stuff. I only got a little bit of...
Yeah, I can wait.
Knife fight. Yeah, knife fights are really bad.
I'll just wait here.
Enacting your will on your behalf.
When you hit somebody with like a pipe or like a bat or something, like they stop engaging. You know, that's like a lot of blunt force.
Oh shit.
But when you've got like the opposite and you've got like stab wounds. Yeah, I'm the hot dog guy. I can't hear you. What?
You can end me?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's right. Commendations for all.
Where's that?
Thank you.
Where's the extra screwdriver?
You have a bandage?
Hey Doc, I still need more blood. As much as you can just pump into my fucking veins, man.
The medic's
You're so nice. I know you're probably low on blood. I'm sucking up all the blood.
I leave out like canned food that is bad, and I leave out
Hi, Doctor.
drugs so that they
Can
get
I have
addicted.
can I have more blood?
Yeah.
Hey,
I like the operation you got going on here.
Thank you. Hey, are you the hot dog man?
Yeah, I'm the hot dog guy.
Hey, I was a scumbag.
dude.
Thank you for
No
killing
way,
that
dude.
banker.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't kill the banker. I just kind of watched it happen, but
You did it.
you know, it was a dealer. But they had like a knife fight, so they both died.
On the ground.
Oh shit.
Sorry, I didn't. Did I take it?
I've almost got all my
think
blood
so.
back.
Oh wait, no, I got it. I got it. Hey, banker, can I take a look?
I almost got all my blood back. We're like at 90%. Oh, there we go.
All right, let's make some.
Thank
bombs.
you.
Only got a little. Go to that
There's
side.
a lot of shooting happening in the wartime pack.
I only have
Is
a little
there?
blood.
I
You
gotta
gotta go to
check
the
on
other
that.
side.
Tends to happen around.
Uh oh.
Yeah, I got stabbed. I said,
What's going on in here?
If you got stabbed, you probably deserved it.
Yeah, so doctors heal people by giving their own blood, but they regenerate blood all the time.
Bombs. You get a free screwdriver.
Oh. I think the server is being DDoSed. This feels a bit like a DDoS. It's a little bit too severe of lag. Usually when lag gets this bad, I usually consider like foul play. This has been pretty smooth so far. Okay, you know what? Food time. Little snack break. Oh, and this time. Yeah, we got there. Hi.
I'm not moving because it's like lagging really bad.
I know. That's this game. The Gary's Mod community is really special, we'll say. Similar to the Team Fortress 2 community. You know, things like that. Some people are just unreasonable and unhinged. Simple as. Don't worry, we'll get there soon. Hold on, almost there. It's doing it. That seems like a likely guess. Some people just kind of do that. They're just like, hey, fuck you. I'm going to now I'm going to DDoS your servers forever because I felt like it. And you just kind of gotta live with it. Are you is like Russian? Well, it's pretty hard for people to DDoS. It's not something that like you can just download a thing and just do it. It usually requires a little bit more effort than that. Because most server hosts have some form of DDoS protection by now. They don't really need a good reason. Like the people that host the TF2, like the aimbots that go around all over the place and like spin around a sniper and headshot everybody. Like those are being hosted by just some freak in Australia or New Zealand or one of those two places. There's no reason for it. They just do it. I mean, they've certainly got a reason to them, but you know. People are just weird.
Yo, what's up?
What?
What's up?
Nothing. Just doing stuff. Patrolling. Why aren't you at the wartime factory?
I was trying to make some food. I made some scary soup.
Oh, scary soup. It's okay. Want to go to the wartime factory?
I'll go to it, I guess. But it's lagging so hard, bro. I just know people are killing each other over
They
there.
are. They are. I've been commending people, and I keep getting alerted that somebody I commended has been targeted for limitation, and I lost 2 amnesites because of it.
You can commend me. I will never do anything illegal ever in my entire life.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah, man. I haven't done anything wrong.
I love you.
I can't wait to lose 2 amnesites for commending that guy.
Nah, real though. I might become a police officer. It is pretty fun because
That's all right.
I've just been nonstop getting choked out for freaking.
Oh wait, hold on.
Doing stuff, man. These. Oh, nah, you got that.
What the fuck are you doing in here?
Hey, It'll go away eventually, but typically you're marked for death.
What did you do?
Alright.
He hit a guy with a screwdriver.
It was an accident.
Alright. Yeah, just wait here. Oh, you should probably hide in that corner, not this one. I could see it from outside.
Hey, are you the guy whose mom I made fun of?
No?
Alright, cool.
I'm the hot dog guy.
In this corner.
Yeah,
Like, you are
something
the
like
hot
that.
dog guy.
I remember you, hot dog guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep hearing about the hot dog guy.
I'm the hot dog guy. That's my signature line. I have to say that a lot. I have to say I am the hot dog guy a lot.
That's awesome.
People need to know.
Yeah, just like hide out and like.
It's nothing.
on
Leave
the
him alone.
Yeah.
This again, bro?
He hit somebody with a screwdriver.
Hey,
Leave him
are you the
alone.
bulwark who fucking killed me for making fun of his mama?
Oh wait, no, I'm the bulwark. Yeah, that was I'm the yeah.
Like I said Joe Mama because I shot a guy in the head and they got mad.
Yeah, that was me. I did
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, yeah, my bad. I mean, seriously, my bad if you were talking like that.
I mean, I didn't really do it because he said Joe Mama. That was just kind of like the straw. It was just kind of like you just cops gotta not just shoot people. You know, there's more to life than shoot the blue square. Okay.
I just saw the blue square terrorist and I opened fire.
Yo, can you make me one of those revolvers? Like a mat sword?
I don't have any materials for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Trinkets. 3 trinkets.
You gotta socialize. You gotta talk to people.
Oh no, I'm just here to have fun.
I know, that's what I mean. You're gonna have a lot more fun talking to some scumbag that's got a knife and a lighter than you would be shooting him in the head and sending him back down into the depths.
Oh, but then how do we protect the Cortex then?
Well, I mean, like, yes, you should kill scum, but you know, like, there's some air to there's some variation there, you know. I mean, if they're gonna shoot at me, I'm gonna shoot at them.
Corrupt as fuck is what I'm hearing. Alright, corrupt.
It's not corrupt. We're just.
I'm here for it. We corrupt.
Just kidding, I didn't kill him. Yo, I command you. Sure he doesn't die. God bless.
Yeah.
Oh, you're good.
Now.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gonna get out of here. Get some.
Yeah, you alright.
Listen.
I just saw you hiding in the fucking corner. I'm like,
Some dude with a knife and a lighter. Some dude with a knife and a lighter is not a threat to the Cortex, alright? That's just a little goblin, alright? You just let him be.
Yeah, they're different than me, so you know.
Hey, what up, cuh?
Hot dog guy.
What the hell?
What?
Where's like a really good apartment to rent?
There aren't.
I need a dog.
There really aren't. I mean, actually, you know what? These ones.
Mr. Liquidator.
These ones right here.
Ration stations got broken.
Let's see if any of them are open.
Station, literally, internet connection got broken.
They're pretty high value, so there's a chance they're all taken.
Yeah.
That's my apartment up here.
I found a couple like sneaky ones through my travels, but I can't remember where they are.
Oh well.
I'm nagging my dick off.
We all are. Ay, with these goofballs. You know?
I'm just following you around now.
Follow me around for what? What's up?
I don't know. Let's go talk to some scumbags.
I mean,
let's go be corrupt. Let's go like take payments.
No, you don't understand. Like, that's not like that. I'm not going out of my way to
I'm like that.
Look, I'm not going out of my way to talk to scumbags. It's just like if I see them and they're clearly not a threat, I'm not just gonna shoot them. Okay? I have good threat assessment.
As a doctor, I hire people to stab people. It's perfect. It's fine.
The other limitator, there's another limitator, and he's like, he's not a good one. I mean, he might. I can't tell if he's like, cause he was working with the scum 100%. Like he was down there.
Yeah.
But he comes back up here, and he just seems pretty chill. So I don't know what to do.
We can strap him with dynamite.
It's 6673.
I think I seen him a couple times. Actually.
All right, I'll
He's
keep
a
it.
limitator.
I'll keep it in mind. Limitators are pretty
was
tough.
watching 'em.
If they're corrupt, then it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to deal with them because I mean, like, they're pretty scary to shoot. I mean, I've killed a couple limitators because they've been doing this, but you know, it's scary out here.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's like I was watching him for a while, so.
Okay. Aye,
I was fucking around as a skeleton. He interacts with people and he's chill, but who knows?
You know what? A little snack. A little snack for the road.
I'm going to the club. Oh, looks like somebody got a tapeworm. Oh, god damn it! There's a cultist over. Cultist over there with guns.
Oh, hey. Wait, they might be nice. Oh shit.
Nice. They're not nice. They're not nice.
Shit.
Those ones aren't nice.
Well, I'm dying. Well, I believe in those cortex.
Yeah, you thought. Get wrecked, don't open it. Don't open
Yeah,
it.
we only got 2 of you.
Yeah, screw you.
I like that idea of like he sees me spot a bunch of cultists and he's like, what if they're nice? And I'm like, they're not.
I want to confiscate this shit.
Yeah, so yeah, they're not nice. These ones ain't nice.
Yeah, how do I confiscate this shit? It's my first time being a cop today.
All right, hold on. What do they got?
A lot.
Oh, they got some nasty shit. Okay. So you're gonna want to take it out and then put it on the ground right away, and then you can confiscate it while it's on the ground.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
No, I meant you gotta be careful because, like, if you get searched with this stuff in your pocket, even though you're a cop, it's still illegal.
Oh, okay. You got the rest on there? Oh, perfect. Mind if I... Do you mind?
We'll split it.
Yeah, I'll take, that one. That one. And... that one. Perfect. Job well done, officer.
Yeah, let's grab these bodies and try to
Drag
haul
him
them
in the
closer
street
to
for
the
the other
infirmary.
guys. I think this one's got some like glue and stuff on it.
What?
Yeah, there was more. They got away.
Yeah, he's got some glue, he's got some cancer on him, you know.
God.
Eat up, eat up. Yeah, eat up. I think that guy was from the video.
We can just leave them here. They'll get picked up, I'm sure.
Certainly.
Well, good work, officer. I'm gonna go to the club and jerk off.
Oh, yeah, I gotta do that too, actually. My sanity is down. Still warheads.
I'm straight jaking it.
just jerking off.
Hey, but don't watch.
You know, I'm kind of a guy that likes to watch, so I mean, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, enough of this.
Okay, all right, I got
There's
that.
no way I'm gonna finish up like this. Hold on, unmute. They're at the wartime factory again.
But I need somewhere for my.
You fucking bozos! You're messing with the supercop! Do you know who I am? I'm a little injured. That was a lot. That was a lot to deal with, though. Doctor, I need help right now. Thank you. I killed fucking 4 of them.
I heard every bullet.
It's a good thing I got so high on epinephrine that I could sprint at them like that.
You guys okay?
I need health a lot.
Yeah. I could use that. I could use a heal as well, so go for that.
I have one of these guys' AKs, so don't search me. I will be marked.
That's yeah, I gotcha. Oh, you fucked up now. God damn it, I'm stuck. You fucked up real bad, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You goddamn right I got him.
Yeah.
That's like 8 more fucking kills today. 6 in this engagement. Oh shit. Did you get him?
Yeah, I got him.
Nice work, boys. Hey, you know what? You guys got Lugers. Hold on, let's see. Who got the killing shot on this? 3751. Congratulations, you get an upgrade.
Nice, thanks.
You can use that. It's not contraband.
Oh. Yeah, thanks. That's good.
And you, guess what you get?
A dumpster van?
No, a fucking big iron. Congratulations.
Where do I get ammo for this rifle?
Those ammo boxes you get, the ammo you get in those boxes at the Nexus, those work.
Oh yeah?
So you have ammo.
Cool. Nice.
That rifle's gonna do a lot better than that pistol.
I need a doctor right now. Doctor?
Hey, do we have a sanitar? And where the fuck do you think you're going?
What was that?
He's got a rot bomb. Holy shit. Hello, Raiders. I'm currently supercop. I am the greatest cop the city has ever seen. I'm also the nicest cop the city's ever seen. Guys, you're not gonna fucking believe what this random prole had in his pockets.
Was it a rat bomb, perhaps?
It was a fucking rot bomb. How'd you know?
I was once one of them in a past life.
I don't even know what this fucking thing does.
I've never seen it.
Don't fucking arm me!
Holy shit!
I'm confiscating that thing. Can I have some blood?
Yeah, what the hell?
I killed like 8 criminals in like the past 5 minutes.
I don't have any more blood, I'm gonna die.
That's
so.
okay, I understand. We gotta get these corpses out of here.
Jesus Christ.
Come on, grab these corpses, help me get them out of here. Christ.
We are united. No faith is greater than another, for each role is essential. We march in unison towards a prosperous and secure future.
Oh, hi, yeah. Did you have fun, Ren? Ay, ay, ay. Thanks, man.
What a disaster.
Disaster? I killed fucking 8 of them with my 6-shooter. This is the best goddamn day of my
just
life.
like so many of them just sprinting out and dying.
It's a good... There was a doctor, and he gave me some epinephrine for free, and he's the reason that I managed to get them all.
Le doctor. How's it going out here, boys?
You know, I did a little work with the help of my boys.
Good work, officer.
Regain your comment. No, the server got wiped from the last time. Doctor! See a doctor taking epinephrine. Oh yeah, in real life. Oh good, this again. There was a fucking cultist right here with a gun.
I just came from the alleyway, so he probably went down here.
Check there. I'm gonna go this way. Big horn. Oh shit.
As you toil and ensure you stand among those who move, who build, who contribute with their hands and their
He got away. Oh yeah, Ren, the newest update lets Cortex use some scum weapons. But wait, I think you already knew that. Hey, Liquidator. At the infirmary in the wartime factory, there's like 12 corpses that need to get thrown into the pit.
Okay. Good.
I am the hot dog guy.
Vigilance is our shield. Unity is our weapon. Stand strong, work hard, and trust in the wisdom of the Cortex. Through discipline and devotion, we secure our future.
Pretty good. The epinephrine
Glory to Anya.
just gave me infinite sprint, which was really good.
Stability, the guardian of our future.
Mm-hmm.
You endure so that we may ascend. This is your duty. This is your honor. Aneurysm 4 is not built to...
The Kevlar is really strong too, but they might have had Kevlar.
It is built upon you. Your hands shape its streets. Your sweat fuels its industry. Your blood ensures its eternity. But there are those who alter, those who question,
Hey.
resist. They inject disorder. They sow weakness. They
God, I feel like such a superhero right now. That whole thing was badass. I need a hemoblocker and I need an extra epinephrine. I used my emergency one.
will be rewarded. Do not question. Do not fail.
Citizens of Aneurysm 4.
Yeah, I'm about to bleed out, gentlemen. It's been real. I can't find any doctors. I love you. I love you too. I'm at the infirmary, in like the middle of square. If there's any doctors here, send them over here.
What's running out so far?
What'd you say?
Just, I was just checking. I asked if seen anything that ran out.
Sacrifice is the foundation upon which our city stands. We all make sacrifices. Some among us are tasked with cleaning, others with control. Some are chosen to be given.
Well, criminals lose the amenocytes they spent to be a criminal, but that's about it.
For each role is essential to our collective success. Like the precise gears of a clock, we march in unison towards a prosperous and secure future. Glory be to those who unite under the promise of the Cortex. It is a true misfortune to share this world with balance and destruction to our mission. The disease and rot flow through the veins of the scumbags and
Forgive me, I'm just enjoying some...
harmony. Yet, we remain vigilant, steadfast in our purpose, unwavering in our resolve.
I'm enjoying some delicious leftover sushi. What's the lore? The lore is the world is rotting. If I could see more colors than blue, the sky is red. There's mold everywhere. We're at war. Everyone's rotting. There's no food. And you're just trying to make it out here. What's up? What's up, baby girl?
Oh, you know, nothing much. Just looking, just working.
That's good.
Yeah.
Your hands shape its streets. Your sweat fuels its industry. Your blood ensures its...
Sorry, Dexter was doing something.
Hey, wait, they can tell?
Supercomputer. I don't think so. But I mean, maybe. I don't know. We don't know much about the lore of this game. All I know is that I'm way stronger than any of the cultists. And I don't have to, like, camp at their door to do it. I still haven't played Repo. I don't have any cool friends to play Repo with. Boone only wants to play with like the VTubers. Although I'll be honest, I haven't asked him. I probably should if I want to play. It's not his fault if I don't ask. Oh, it is. I didn't say that. Oh, fuck. Yeah, it seems like a fun time. Sorry about that. I was enjoying my last piece of sushi. Yeah, Stick, I got news for you. Almost nothing is supported on Mac, except for like art programs. It sounds like Ren got owned a little bit. No offense. It sounds like somebody got you. Did you just push me? Did you just fucking push me? You know what I could do to you right now?
I would never push you. Come on, hot dog warlord, or wiener warlord, warlord wiener. Did you just?
What, you think you just fucking push me and get away with it? You think you gonna push me and get away with it?
Call the police!
How the fuck are you so fast? How the fuck are you so fast? Hey, you thought you could fucking... Hey. Holy shit. You got the hops.
I got the hops.
You got the fucking hops. God damn.
Hey, doctor.
Look, I'm just saying, I just killed like 7 cultists with my revolver, okay? You don't want to fuck with me right now. I feel like I'm a Superman.
Supercop.
So I got hopped up on epinephrine and I just went.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Huh? What? Huh?
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Remember that.
I gotta go to the club. I have this feeling like I might not see too many cultists for a bit because of the work that I've done. Do you guys feel this? So obvious. What did I do? Huh? What? Hi.
Hello.
I'm the greatest fucking cop the city's ever seen, dude. I'm the greatest fucking cop the city's ever seen. Oh, you're saying I can bust it down. I can break it down with my fat ass. That's what you're saying, right? I'm throwing it back. I'm doing the cortex shaker. There you go, there you go. Bro capped the entire underground and twerked on their rotting corpses. He knows how to cook, clean, and throw it back. He's got it all. God, I'm so fucking strong.
You hot dog guy?
What?
Are you a hot dog guy?
Yeah, ask me.
You took your store.
What do you mean you took my store?
They took your store.
What do you mean they took my store?
The two bankers that we were after earlier.
Yeah?
Took your store.
How could they have taken my store? I own the lease.
Operating your store.
What?
Yeah, they were in your store, all up in your shit.
Hmm.
You don't have any hot dogs anymore. There's nothing on the cashier.
Hmm. That guy says that there's bankers in our store.
Oh yeah, that was me.
What?
There's like no sales.
Oh, you're the fucking banker? Were you the
I
banker
was,
killing
yeah.
everybody?
Not killing everybody, no.
Yeah, that's my business partner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, update on the business. There are no good deals for food.
Yeah, that was a big problem today.
Yeah, I spent like an hour and a half just looking.
How do I cook food? How do you guys make those?
We just buy it off the dealer net, so you become shady dealer or banker, and you can just buy it off the dealer net.
Yeah, the food that you can order as a dealer is way better than the food you can cook. Like, it's not close.
Yeah.
It's just way better.
Yeah, it's not worth the cook.
Cooking food is okay, but only if you can't get normal food for normal people.
Yeah.
So, how much money does that take?
Well, it's
A trade secret
to
I
order
can't
food.
tell you.
To order food?
Okay, so you guys lease this place for like
Yeah.
150, right? Like, how
Yeah,
much
so-
was this place?
This place was
This was $250.
$275. $250.
And then, how do you guys make money? Like, how do you guys make that kind of money?
Buy food and sell it.
Yeah.
No. Before you were successful.
We work. You work. You do
yeah.
a job.
I played as medic and did laundry for like 2 hours. And then healed people who came up to me.
I worked in the war factory.
Yeah.
Stick, thank you.
Glorious in power.
Well, how do I be your business partner?
Well,
sorry, we're full.
I don't think
Sorry, man.
that's something we sort of decided at the very first while.
Yeah.
It was sort of an initial thing. It would be kind of hard to just have a business partner now. You know, we built up a lot of trust together. We kiss.
Yeah. Yeah. See, just like that.
Just
See?
like that.
Don't get too jealous.
To be your business partner.
I want you out of my store.
Jesus.
You're gonna have to kill me.
I can't kill something as cute as you. I'm sorry.
Well, this cute ass is interested in being your business.
I'm sorry, man. I'll give you accommodation.
Hey, man.
Oh, hey, man.
I will only accept accommodation in the form of business.
I already gave it to you. You're accepting it either way.
I do not accept it.
Be a good boy now. Don't break the law.
Be my business partner. I want to be successful.
I'm not a problem,
I'm
man.
broke. I just want to be broke anymore. Let me work for you.
I don't know. What do you bring to the table?
my charisma, personality, and way with words.
Well, my business partner has all of that, so I don't need you.
And I have great work ethic, better than yours and his combined.
That's
Let me see it.
sacrilege.
Yeah, that's sacrilege. Let me see it. You know who this man is? He's like single-handedly fighting back the rot.
I killed 7 cultists by myself with a revolver. Okay.
Yeah, I saw it happen.
Well, maybe not by myself, but it was like I did.
No, it was by himself.
Yeah, by myself.
It was by himself.
He's
Okay,
a
but
goddamn war
can you
hero.
do that without that armor?
Absolutely.
I mean,
I've seen it do it with
You're
salesman.
nothing without that.
As a salesman.
I mean, that's like saying I'm nothing without the gun. And like, yeah, you're right. If I didn't have a gun, it'd be a lot harder to kill people. And yeah, if I didn't have this armor, it would be a lot harder to not get killed. That's just kind of how it is.
Insane work ethic.
I can do it. All right.
If you have insane work ethic, why aren't you like folding laundry? Getting a real job.
Yeah, why don't you have a shop?
Why don't you have a job? Why don't you have a real
Yeah,
job?
why don't you get a
That's like
shop and then
asking
start there?
somebody- That's like asking somebody, why are you applying to this place? When
No,
you
no, no.
could be-
You're not applying for a job. You're asking to be a business partner. That's like That's like you walking into like a Rite Aid and being like, I want to be a co-owner. Like, what the hell do you expect?
Look, I got like.
I'm gonna
200
decommit
bucks.
you now.
I got like 200 bucks.
Why don't you go open a store and then maybe we can talk business?
When the docks is open.
I'd rather be an employee with you guys.
I don't know. You don't bring anything to the table, and your work ethic's kind of lacking.
I like this plaza and I like this location.
I do love both those things.
And I like it.
Oh, you like us?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Speaking of, I wanted to say, hello, new neighbor. I just bought a shop over there in the corner.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
What do you plan on selling?
I was gonna sell my homemade soup.
So food.
Delicious.
But I'm not gonna encroach on your gabagool and your hot dog there. You know, like I'm selling soup.
You sell repair kits. Nobody ever has repair kits.
Yeah.
There actually is a guy. What? It's next to the cafe. It's the broken down.
I hate that place.
It's okay. The cafe only sells warheads.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
not
that.
a cafe. It's like right next to the broken down car next to the pit.
Well, I mean, we're not selling anything right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I searched for like 2 hours. Couldn't get anything for any food. All it was bad prices.
Yeah. But yeah, I was gonna sell like some cheap soup, nothing like that's good like that. That way I'm not encroaching on it. Probably some other stuff.
You can sell whatever you want, really. I mean, just, you know.
Have variety.
Variety is the spice of life.
Exactly. And I did all that by working hard and saving up.
Yeah, I can tell you're a hard worker. You don't have soft hands like this guy. This medic. Hey, I don't recommend that. I do not recommend that.
Well, don't fucking push a potential business partner. What are you doing?
I didn't push you.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Nope.
Oh, now you pushed
that's
me.
assault. That's assault.
That's
on
assault.
An officer.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Oh.
I think you should unjoke.
Well, now we're.
I don't think anyone gets to leave now.
He's
Until
gonna
you
use us for
apologize.
meat.
You should
He's gonna use
apologize.
us for meat. This is how his hot dogs are made.
You should probably apologize. You won't get to live if he apologizes.
We're just a bunch of.
72, please. You gotta apologize.
You gotta apologize.
Oh no, definitely not. You pushed me first. You apologize. That's not how that works.
You pushed me first. What are you
You
talking
want
about?
any
Push me first.
I'm telling you. Just apologize.
Trinkets or repair
Just
kits.
give it to him.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
You know what?
There must be.
It ain't even worth it. Get out of my store.
The only way out is there.
Oh wow. It's nice
Well,
of you.
it's been great. You all have a good one.
Yeah, it was fun. Good luck out there, man. Hope you
I
shot
know a
this well.
secret.
What's the secret?
I pushed him first.
I knew something was wrong. He accused me of pushing. I didn't even touch him.
I I pushed him over the
He's a
counter.
hooligan.
You pushed me.
Yeah, I pushed you.
Hey, mind your own business.
I just didn't say anything because I thought it was funnier that way.
Frame your business partner?
No,
No. You know what?
that would have been framing because you pushed him.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I apologize.
That's very nice of you.
And
You can have your command back.
You get a punish. How about that?
Oh, oh my God!
Shouldn't have pushed me.
You shouldn't have pushed an officer of the law. Oh, I'm gonna go take out the trash.
What the fuck?
I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Do you like the sub icon?
Are you hungry?
I'm hungry.
I forgot I had it on me.
Oh my god, thank you. You're so
Not
sweet.
a problem. Keep being the best cop in town.
I think that guy lost $200 because I shot him in the head.
That's so fucking sad.
Thanks. I really don't think he expected me to do that, but I'm kind of a quick draw.
I saw it. Yeah,
Dude,
faster
he
than five.
Dude, he killed so many pros. If they, oh, I lost.
Yeah, he tried to shoot a liquidator, and I low-key blew his dumb smooth off.
Oh, what the fuck? It says he was killed by Strange Phantom.
Yeah, strange phantom.
Who the fuck's a Phantom?
Why is it counting me as a phantom?
Like.
Also, look what I picked up off of him. Look what I
Where
picked
did
up
you
off
even
of him.
get a gun?
Oh shit.
I'm not gonna.
Can't.
Can I have that?
Hell yeah, man.
Take
You gotta
that on
shoot
my
people.
staff.
No, you cannot have it.
I'm gonna warn you. That's not one of the legal guns. You like that's contraband.
It is not. I know it is not.
Well, I mean
I
these
know
guns
it's
are.
not.
Well, these
He has
guns are
one.
legal.
Yeah,
These ones are legal,
I
but
saw that guy
those,
shoot people.
yours aren't. Yours isn't.
He ran away.
Oh, was this 72? Oh, it must have been 72. Oh, he's pulling a trick on us, guys. He's a little scoundrel. He likes pulling his tricks. That's all. He likes.
Okay, wait. Oh, I don't have a pickaxe. Can somebody harvest them?
Sure, yeah. Just give me a second. I'm
More
gonna
fuel.
your way.
Any food? I don't have any. I don't have any. I don't have any.
We're all hungry.
Get this guy.
He's a Phantom. Here's Danny Phantom. He was just 14 and he built a very strange machine. But it didn't work. His parents just quit. So Danny took a look inside of it. He's a Phantom. That show sucks, by the way. I mean, I gotta be so clear.
For this rogue doctor.
Thank you.
The only consistent thing is that
No food and I'm trying to get food.
the grown-up version of the goth girl is, is like a
Wait,
slam
are you
dunk.
that banker I was just talking to? Are
Wonder
you
if I
that
still have
banker
an
I was just talking
apartment.
to?
Okay.
Hey. Yo, there you are.
Damn it. Uh-oh.
5%. It was pretty epic. Oh, there it is.
Hey, do you own a shop?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Do you sell food?
Oh, I've been trying to get food, man, but the prices is ridiculous.
We're having a famine. There's no food.
It's like 27.
Hey, you want a cigarette?
You're right. I know.
It's bad. I
It's
think it's
bad.
Like the rod, man.
What's the rod at? I'm okay. I don't want any cigarettes.
Facts.
You can check it by the pod, man.
I'll go check it.
It is salvation. It is survival. I am the voice of order. The guardian of our future. I am the console.
I'm hungry. Why is there no food? Is it illegal to be a skeleton? No.
Shots! Gunshots!
What did you do?
Who did it? 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 Who
I'm just doing laundry.
Were you shooting?
He's lying.
No. They were shooting down the way though.
Why are you doing laundry?
I gotta clean my clothes.
We're having a famine.
Patrols are yeah, this shit's so expensive. Patrol makes me stinky.
I mean, I probably stink.
Yeah, you caked in metal.
Well, I mean, I haven't changed in a while. I've just been killing people.
L1. Doing great work out there, soldier.
Thanks.
Hell yeah. You too.
You gotta try to manage it pretty well, and then wait till the ration cycle comes up to get your rations.
So if you have access to a cooking station, so both of the workshops that are in a red alleyway, both of them are unbought, so you can just walk in. There's a cooking station right there. You
What? Unbought? Surely he's wrong, right? Surely he's wrong. Okay, he's wrong. Second, I got really excited. HSM, I am streaming. However, I got hopped up on drugs and I killed 7 cultists with a revolver, and it was rad. Oh, I get you. Listen, it was so cool. I had a Terminator moment. Wait, hold on. What? Huh?
Time to fish. They said I should go fish. It's all ready. They're bullshit, man.
Yeah, it's full. They played you, man. I think you should go get revenge.
Motherfuckers. I'm gonna.
Hey, Hugh.
He's on a mission. Hey, you think I can afford cocaine? You're out of your mind.
I had to kill myself to buy a store. What a shame.
What a shame.
I'll be back.
Wait, you don't have to kill yourself to buy a store. Like, do you have the money for a store?
No, I was an officer of law. I was like you.
Damn.
Yeah, it feels bad. But I got the store, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
Yeah, it's my second one. I got one down in the Czar. I had 2 down there, but I was nice and gave one away, and I got my second one up here. I think it's probably better. Best. Sorry, I thought I walked too far.
This game works on Mac. Wild. HSM, I think I don't want to say single-handedly because I technically couldn't have done it all by myself, but I think I basically single-handedly destroyed the cultists on the server for like the next couple hours, so it might be a good idea for me to finally go to bed. Saved your ass. Yes, they did. But I did kill like 4 or 5 cultists before I had needed a doctor. Man, it was so bad. I cannot believe how badass. They did have my back. Maybe I should stop taking credit. I may have been the MVP, but it was still a team effort. Shame on me.
Have you seen the banker?
No. I had to think about it for a second. Time for gambling. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. Oh, we're out of Kevlar. Pretty late for you. Yeah, I do have to be up in the morning.
Is there a liquidator?
Haven't seen one.
There's if you see one, just say there's a rot pod over that dumpster if he's nearby here. Also, nah, it's useless information. I was gonna say, I hit it with a pickaxe before and it literally does nothing.
Yeah, that's what the fire's for. Yeah, this is on Unity. You got me, you got me.
Frank.
Oh, there's no food.
Dented food can?
You have a dented food can?
Oh, I was saying if you have one.
No.
Oh, man.
Just a hungry time. Drink soda. I mean, I can. Wait. Who are you?
What's up, man? I'm your friend.
What? Why are you in here?
Your business partner is making me do this.
Do what? Search for food?
Yo.
Order.
Yeah. Have you ordered any food?
Yes. There's no kevl goo. Kevl goo is like 25. Same as cornbread. So I have to do the bone crush and make it the bone bread into bread.
You got any food on you? I'm about to starve to death.
Yeah, I got this. Make it.
Alright, I can do that. Thank you.
No worries, man. I'm trying my best, bro, but this is too expensive.
I know.
I leave that door open. I don't give a shit.
Sorry, pal.
Hey, he said leave it open.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Sensitive materials in there and all that. I'm hungry. I'm starving to death.
Sounds like it. I'll take a shot of Fireball and watch it cook.
That's a good idea. Not that one. I need bone corn.
I need food.
We all need food. I'm making some bread.
Hunger.
I don't even have fate because I don't have any money to buy food. Thanks.
Not a problem. Be a good boy now.
I have food.
I
Do
got
you have
paid
food?
and then I fucking died while I was AFK. Now I have no
Oh, I'm
money.
sorry to hear that.
Does the Metalworks actually give good money? Or...
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Food!
I'll get some bread for you in a second. That's about all I can do.
I'm actively dying.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, did you see, our new intern?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, he only has access to that one. And we're forcing him to work at the terminal.
Here. Oh.
Sir, I can't, I don't have money. You're gonna force me to buy it? Oh, thank you, thank you.
We got meat. I mean, we got meat.
Yeah, we have some meat. Suspicious meat. Why'd you try the door? You're not allowed back there.
Here. I'm gonna take this medicine that makes me happy and then eat a bunch of human meat.
Alright. Have fun.
It's not about fun.
I don't know, it looks pretty fun to me. Thank you, thank you. I'm no longer starving.
It said it stops sanity loss to take this medicine, but I'm still fucking insane.
Oh.
I thought you were
I
supposed
think
to
that
take it
medicine
after.
only... No, it's before. The psycho one's before, the other one's after. The psycho one stops stamina, or sanity.
Yo.
From draining.
Yo.
Hey, man.
Where did your banker friend go?
He's locked away.
Hey Doc, can I have some blood? Oh wait, hi.
Locked away.
Yeah, I locked him away.
Neither.
Thanks, pal.
Actually, no, we don't, because we have no money.
I can go get him.
I gotta go run to the club for a minute. I gotta do the cortex shaker again. Was locked in there. I didn't realize that. I mean, I didn't get the memo. If I was supposed to leave him locked in there. Wait, what was that? If I was supposed to leave him locked in there, I didn't get the memo, and that's a failure of communication and not my fault. Hi. What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
I'm here to do the cortex shaker.
The what?
The cortex shaker. I'm about to break it down, throw it back.
Dude, let me see that shit. I need it. Oh my god. Here, hand me that thing. Hand me that thing. I'll show you how to break it down. Hand me that thing.
I'm not handing you this fucking thing. You fucking think I'm stupid?
Dude, hand me that thing. I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you how to do it. Oh my god. Fucking it up. Oh my god. That's nuts. That's sicko mode, honestly. You know what, man? Here, take it.
I don't need nothing. Unless it's food. I gotta eat some food.
There you go.
Well, hey, you know what?
I threw you $2. $2 just for you. No, you're the one throwing it back. Throwing it back. I can't keep going up.
Keep it.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm all set. Best be on my way.
Good luck, officer of the law.
Hey, I'm the hot dog guy. If you talk about me, people will know me.
The hot dog guy. Hell yeah. I'm the footman.
All right, footman. I'll see you.
Ah! Yeah.
Making me go feral. Hopefully by the time I come back to the server, we'll have some fucking, like, food. There's no food on this entire fucking server. Everyone's starving to death. It's bad. I'm gonna have to start eating people if this shit keeps up. Dude, we're gonna have to start eating people if there's no food soon.
Hey man, welcome back. You missed it. Two paroles came in. Both had SMGs. Luckily, I ate my Kevlar. I was able to take them on.
They just two came in.
Came in, shot up the place, but I somehow killed them.
Well,
but I think the Kevlar really helps.
I mean, yeah, no shit, it helps. Good job, man. Good job.
Oh, that was mine. Yeah, they had two pities.
Oh, well, that's why they didn't kill you. Oh.
Oh shit.
Well, now you gotta eat it.
I'm not eating that.
Now you gotta eat it. You can't waste it.
Oh! No, I don't think that was a good idea.
But you made it.
Oh! That's not a good idea, man. Oh,
I mean, you could have made it into carcinogenic soup if it was really that bad. Oh, you know, it'll get better.
I don't feel too good.
You'll be all right. Here, hold on. I'm gonna put my money in the register so that way you can order some food tomorrow if if that happens to be a thing you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna wait for next pay cycle and swap it back to salesman.
I am gonna go to bed.
Alright.
I've killed almost all the cultists. I think they're done for today, and I have some stuff I gotta do in the morning. I've killed so many. Hey.
It's the cop shop.
Yeah, how can I help you?
I mean, it's actually the hot dog place, but we don't have any food right now. I'm sorry.
We know Warlord.
Oh, okay. You guys want some stuff to sell? I got all kinds of like bullshit.
You want some of this? You can work with this.
No, I don't want that.
But you can go to the brewery. You can make some wine or some shit.
Well, that like, I mean, yeah, but I'm already kind of full up on the amnesia sites. I gotta grind some money somehow now.
Hey, metalworks,
just put it on the
alright.
counter.
I don't think you're gonna get much for selling some stuff, unfortunately.
Sorry, man.
And sorry about no food. The food market's fucked right now.
Oh, we just got food. Gabagool.
Oh shit! I'm starving to death.
Thank you, intern. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No worries, there's 10 cents right now. You have any money so I can buy more?
I just put all my money in the register, so he'll deal with it. I gotta go.
Let me see if I got any money on you, buddy.
Good night,
shit,
everybody. I'm gonna go fall asleep in the back of the store.
Man. Good night.
Hey, man.
Only there was
Sleep
some
tight.
real estate open.
That was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I really enjoyed the stream. I had a lot of fun. This was a really, really good stream. Goblin, if you can go clip when I gun down those guys, it would be awesome. So we can look at that like tomorrow. But I'm gonna raid Boone. Hold on, who else is streaming? Just in case I'm gonna raid Boone, and then I'm gonna go shower and then go to bed. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye. Goodbye. Bye bye. Bye-bye. Love you. Bye-bye. You're all so sweet. I love you guys. You're all wonderful.